Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Iron Elite Podcast Show with your boy Sarge, man. It's Sunday. And I know you guys are up and down the highways, man. We're praying for a safe return back to home. But let everybody know we're on. Share it with a friend. K4L, let's go.
I was asked the other day, hey Sarge, why you never play any fast music on your podcast? It's simple. I'm petty.
Hurry up, don't truck it up, rev your motors up. If it ain't clean, get your polish up, big sword. You in charge, real king of the south. If you ain't getting, y'all don't gotta keep it motorcycle, you dig? Hurry up, don't truck it up, rev your motors up. If it ain't clean, get your polish up, big sword. You in charge, real king of the south. If you ain't getting, y'all gotta keep it motorcycle, you dig? Sliding on my road glide, looking so fly, 20-inch rollback, screaming eagle torque pack. I-10 to the end, it's a known patch. If you ain't a ground pounder, pay attention, fall back. We iron elite boys, no need for hitting switches. We split lanes and hogging lanes, we on a mission. On our way to CA, we 100 deep. Roll up, y'all the road, run it up, rip it up. Hurry up, don't truck it up, rev your motors up. If it ain't clean, get your polish up, big sword. You in charge, real king of the south. If you ain't getting, y'all don't gotta keep it motorcycle, you dig? Hurry up, don't truck it up, rev your motors up. If it ain't clean, get your polish up, big sword. You in charge, real king of the south. If you ain't getting, y'all gotta keep it motorcycle, you dig? I'm outside with it. I scrape the town burning loud when the smoke clear up. You know I hardly did it. I'm real naughty with it. My ride clean when it bling. I show the lean on the scene to get jiggy with it. No did it, get it? I'm well equipped it. My bike side got a side, so you know I'm hit. She dropped it down and split it. Backed it up to shift it. Let me kick a little game to you lames riding around here, giving a set a bad name. It don't matter what you rank or what you claim. When we turn it up, keep it motorcycling, man. My soul brothers, they roll runners, we rolling deep. When it's time to rally up, it's Black Wall Street. When you see them MCs at the RTE, roll the up, down the road, run it up, rip it up. Hurry up, don't truck it up, rev your motors up. If it ain't clean, get your polish up, big sword. You in charge, real king of the south. If you ain't getting, y'all don't gotta keep it motorcycle, you dig? Hurry up, don't truck it up, rev your motors up. If it ain't clean, get your polish up, big sword. You in charge, real king of the south. If you ain't getting, y'all gotta keep it motorcycle, you dig?
But Sarge, why you always gotta talk about motorcycling? Sarge, why you won't never talk about nothing else? Look here, man. If you gonna do all that crying, what the baby gonna do?
Hey, man, once again, welcome to the Iron Elite Podcast Show with your boy Sarge. Man, you know I get the hairs get to going on my arms, man, every time I hear that song. One person told me one time, they say, Sarge, sound like that song said a lot of stuff about you. So forget it, man. Hey, forget it. Sometimes the people that's closest to you, man, know the least about you. But hey, that's not the reason why we're on today. We're getting ready to talk about the I-10 to the end, man. An epic ride. It was the Soldiers United edition, man. It was a mother chapter. It was Blo-out, man. It was 360. And they were going through whatever they were going through, man, trying to make it to the West Coast and back from the West Coast, back home safe and sound. So you guys see them. They're on the screen. So first and foremost, fam, how are we today?
Good. Doing well, sir. Doing
Hey
good.
man, they still trying to get the rust out.
Good.
Hey, we ain't as young as we used to be, goddamn it.
Oh
That's
no!
for sure.
Oh no!
Hey man. Hey, when we were 20-year-olds whippersnappers in the military, man, we go out and do all that stuff and be ready to get out and go, man. Now, hey, we have to start thinking about this thing. Hey, man, we gotta make a calculated decision.
That's the truth.
Yes,
Hey.
definitely.
Thanks. Hey, fellas, but it's good to see you guys back home safe and sound with your family, man, enjoying a Sunday afternoon. But thank you again for taking some time to share your ride with us today, man. And we're going to get into it and we're going to talk about it because you guys had an epic ride. Am I correct?
Oh yes, it was something special.
Oh, we're going to talk about it. So let's do this, man. Before we get started, let's introduce ourselves to everybody. Tell the world a little bit about yourself. So if you want to take it first, Blo-out.
Sure. Yes. I'm Blo-out. I'm the sergeant at arms for the mother chapter of Soldiers United out of Hinesville, Georgia. Also, I've been riding since I was 8 years old. So, dirt bikes, motocross racing, sport bikes, then the Harleys. That's where I'm at now. So it's about probably close to 40 years. So that's me.
That's what's up, man. 40 years behind the handlebars, man. Probably some of them years probably weren't even legal years.
Oh no, they weren't. Dirt bikes and backwoods and everything else.
Yeah, man. Hey, we know how we all got started, man, as kids on these things, man.
Oh yes.
Hey, thank you, sir. So who else we got? We got 360.
Yeah, how you doing, Big Sarge?
I'm good,
Yeah.
sir.
I'm 360 from the Motor Chapter Soldiers United Motorcycle Club. I don't have the experience like my brother Blo-out. I actually put down bikes back in the 80s, and I actually picked it back up in the 2000s. So this is my second time around. As you can tell, I'm an Indian rider. I'm the Indian rider of the family. So
Okay. Hey, Indian riders are people too. Hey, right on, man. So as you guys can see, Soldier United been getting it, man, this year. Hey, man, they ain't nothing to play with, bro. The guys been telling me like, man, why you always have Soldier United? Bro, because they ride motorcycles. I'm just saying. You get on your bike, man, we'll have you on too, and we're going to talk about it. But fellas, so we've been back about a week now?
Yeah, about a week.
About a week. Okay. You guys came from Hinesville, Georgia, hit Jacksonville, from Jacksonville to Cali, and then you turned around and hit the 40 going back, the 40 back across. And we're going to speak about that a little bit later because y'all were warned. Y'all were warned, man. It's cold out there. Hey, so fellas, let's do this, man. Let's take it from the top. We're going to barbershop talk this thing if you guys don't mind. Okay, so we make this decision. Of course, you guys are an MC. So we make this decision as club brothers to make this ride. Was this the first time we've done a cross-country ride?
I mean, east to west, yes. I mean, but from north to south, me and 360 have we've taken a trip to Canada via Detroit. We've taken a trip to Maine. So east to west, yes, this is our first time together doing that. Not my first time, but our first time together doing this.
Okay, so the experience level is there. We got the experience level.
Yes.
Am I correct? Okay, so
Correct.
we take the trip. We leave. What did you guys get out? Y'all got out on Saturday morning or
Saturday morning.
I think it was on a Saturday morning. You guys left. I think you guys left around about 5:36.
Yeah, about 5:30.
About 5:30.
About 5:36 or 2 Saturdays ago. And for those who don't know, or those who do know, we had the unique pleasure of having 2 chapters together. It was you guys and the Wardorf, Maryland chapter.
Yeah,
and shout out to my guys. Yeah, I just had those guys on actually yesterday. Friday. I'm sorry. So
yes,
we started out together. It was 7 brothers total. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So preparing, and it sometimes is unique enough just trying to ride with your own chapter, because your chapter sometimes, you know each other, you ride all the time together. but now we have 2 chapters. We have the same patch, but we got 2 chapters. So obviously there's some things that we might have to discuss and talk about in those particular things. Were there anything that you guys had to do, anything particular to plan to take off, or whether it wasn't even a plan that y'all were going to take off together? Am I correct?
Right. So we had talked to our Waldorf brothers, and actually discussed how we wanted to travel. Do we want to travel all 7 together, or do we want to go ahead and break the rides up between the mother chapter and the Waldorf? So what we discussed was, which is very important on these kind of road trips, is how does everybody ride? Right. And so we discussed how they rode in comparison to how me and Blo-out rode. And that's where we made the determination that we'll have 2 pockets. The mother chapter, me and Blo, would ride together, and then the Waldorf brothers would ride together.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. And because obviously sometimes on the road, and these are particular, especially, sometimes we get the younger riders, and sometimes we get the we'll say the more seasoned folks out there, 50 plus, us kind of guys, my kind of guys. And, there's things that we do and don't want to do no more. Sometimes we want to ride incredibly fast. Sometimes, hey man, we want to do a gas station stop. We pee every other gas station. I'm not in that group. I'm not in the pee in every other gas station stop group. Hey, when you get plus 50, man, we go in the bathroom every time we have to go, blah. We ain't playing that. Or, or sometimes you get in the group that says, hey, man, I'm a pound all day. And then we eat at the end of the night. I ain't in that group either. No, I'm gonna eat when I'm hungry, and then we gonna keep pushing. So I'm making jokes of it, but were those some type of things that and I know you two have more rhythm together, but was that some type of things that you guys had to discuss and plan and say, hey man, what we finna do and how we gonna do it?
Well, honestly, our plan was, before we even knew the Waldorf chapter was going, I guess I'm kind of more of the mapping out how we're going to do things type of guy. Like, okay, we're going to do San Antonio, then we're going to do Phoenix, and then we should be getting into Santa Monica Pier by Monday afternoon if we leave on Saturday type of deal, barring any issues or whatever. But like for, like stops and everything, we kind of play it by ear, like how we play, like if 360's hungry, we're like, hey, I said, okay, let's get through this stop and see how, the next stop or whatever, or we'll discuss it in between stops, like at a gas station stop. How you feel about like eating now or eating later, or how? That's kind of how me and 360 have done it.
Okay. So we got rhythm, we got communication, we kind of know how we get out. So the first day coming out of the gate, what was the plan? How far we were going to go and what we dealt with the first day coming out of the gate? And we can throw this around again. And both of you guys, please feel free to comment on that.
I'll take the lead then.
Okay.
So initially we made up our mind that we're gonna run 1,000 that first day and stop up in San Antonio. That was our mission. We took out the gate from the BP. It was me and Blo-out took off, and we hit the exit for I-10, and it was closed.
I remember that. Right? God dang it, man.
That was kind of a hit, right? We're like, okay, you trying to run something right here? So we had to make a whole block to come back to the park point. We had to make up Big Sarge and Waldorf.
Hey, you know who reminded me as soon as you guys pulled off? The wife reminded me. She said, you know that? I said, don't worry about it. We hear a bunch of Harleys and Indians screaming back through. You guys came around, I was like, yeah. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Because I know GPS was trying to take you right back to where you couldn't go at. Am I correct?
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Honestly, I knew I-10. Me personally, I was like, I-10's right here. This is where we getting on it. Then I didn't realize that, that it was blocked off until
they do a lot of construction after hours on it. 95 and I-10 jacked up. Coming through
Yes.
Jacksonville. Yeah. Yeah.
And-
Hope that's
and
for all
that's
my
what-
riders, man, who riding in the dark, coming in or coming out of Jacksonville. They're doing a lot of construction, a lot of major construction on both of those interstates.
Yeah. And then it was basically what it was. It was what it was, you know. Like you said, we were trying to make it to, our plan was San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to get to the west side of San Antonio to avoid any traffic. That was my plan, to like, if we get through San Antonio and shut it down at the end in
Yeah.
San Antonio for day one,
Yeah.
we had a good day.
Hey, you know, I speaking of San Antonio, I was gonna save my jokes for later, but I'm gonna get my jokes off now. Hey, you remember me kept asking you guys, now how far y'all going? And y'all say, Sarge, we're going to San Antonio. We putting it down. I said, oh, okay, y'all grown
Yeah.
folks.
Yeah.
Hey, and bro, I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, okay, it's 6 o'clock. Drop the 1, carry the 6. I said, yo, you know, I was thinking, I'm like, y'all ain't gonna make it to San Antonio about like 1 in the morning. Am I correct?
Oh, we got there. What time was it? About 10 something, 11?
I would say it's about 10 or 11 o'clock. We got in. We rolled in.
I was an hour ahead.
Yeah.
I think when I saw y'all hit San Antonio, it was 12:30 here. When I saw y'all said, "Hey, we kickstands down," but I know the second wave, they didn't make it to San Antonio until like 2:30 in the morning. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
was asleep. We was asleep when they made it to San Antonio.
Oh, that's what's up. That was up. So how was the path going from Jacksonville to San Antonio? How was the run?
I guess 360 could tell you more, because it was a lot of rain and thunderstorm and you know, it was traffic in Lafayette and Baton Rouge more than anything with that rain. That heavy thunderstorm is what we was dealing with. But once we got past that, it was like, hey, we're gonna push on through this, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So other than the weather, because the weather was trash. I think the weather was just, you know, when I had bikers on the road, the weather was trash. When I didn't have nobody on the road, there were those small little gaps. Man, the weather was beautiful.
Right.
It's just what it is, man. It's just what it is. So let me say this. Okay, since we were dealing with so much trash weather out there, do y'all rock a certain type of rain suit, or you just go with what you got? Do you ride with a riding suit? What do you use to deal with inclement weather?
I mean, honestly, I was on the way out there. We was using the Milwaukee brand rain suit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was coming down hard. It was more about the vision than getting wet at that time. Like seeing the road and seeing the cars, and it was a funny situation. We thought we were going to hit rain, and we didn't hit it yet. And 360, she's like, I'm gonna take my top off. I was like, as soon as you take it off, bro, I said, the rain gonna hit us, man. And sure enough, we got back on the road from filling up with gas, and I say less than 10 miles later, started pouring down rain. Here we go. I'm looking at him. He pulling underneath the bridge so he could put his rain gear on. And from there, it was, I feel like the bottom dropped out of the sky going.
Hey, man, I saw that. I was watching my radar, and I was thinking to myself 2 things, man. Please be safe, guys, and thank God I ain't with y'all. Like, man, I ain't want none of that. So you guys do ride with riding suits? Am I correct?
Yes.
Nobody.
Yes.
I don't think I saw nobody that day riding with jeans or anything like that.
No, if it's raining, we gonna try to cover up as much as we can.
Yeah. Is that something on a long distance ride? Is that something that you ride with anyway, a riding suit, or do you guys just ride in normal jeans or whatever?
So when we're doing long distance like that, then we bring gear for all kind of weather. You know, we for hot, for cold, for water, because you never know. You never know what you're going to endure when you're on these rides. I will say that I did make a boo-boo on this trip. because I anticipated that we'll be riding in probably 40-degree weather, probably 30-degree weather. I wasn't expecting it to drop down into the 20s. So I actually left my plug-in gloves and just bought some regular cold weather. That was a terrible.
Yeah, buddy.
You were saying earlier about getting frostbite.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me. My hands were so wet and so cold that I couldn't even feel my fingertips anymore. That I literally had to use the palms of my hand to control my levers. And that's when I had to put my foot down on that one with Blo-out. So that's it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going no further. So we pulled over and bunked down for the night.
Yeah, I tell my riders, man, because I go across every year in April. This was the first time I didn't go across in 5 years, but I go across every year in April. And I tell my just because it's warm here on the East Coast, bro, do not get it twisted. When you get to the middle of the country, you get to the Midwest, you get to the West, that weather's going to change on you big time. You're dealing with elevation, you're dealing with weather patterns. You can't take it for granted. And we're going to talk about it as we get into it later, where it really got cold. But 20 degrees out there in Western Texas and in New Mexico, and sometimes in the higher elevation of Arizona, is realistic for the beginning of April. It's realistic in the morning, and then you might burn up daytime. So, but you got to be prepared. Okay. So, gentlemen, what the road conditions, were they pretty decent out there? What should we expect this time?
I'm gonna say Louisiana.
I'm talking about from Jacksonville to San Antonio.
Sure. You want to take it, Blo-out?
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, I was going to say that Louisiana, the roads were terrible. You know, I was going to reach out to my brother, Big Easy, and say, you got to pay your taxes, brother, because them roads are terrible. But outside of Louisiana, the roads weren't that bad, really, I would say. Louisiana, terrible. But outside of Louisiana, it wasn't that bad.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Okay. I remember one part, and Faith said something to us Sunday morning about the Texas road where they're doing the construction. It's like there's no median to the left side. It's just.
Are you talking about around Beaumont?
It may be Beaumont. I remember Faith saying something about it. Yes. Yeah. And it was no median to the left. It was just all concrete barrier and the yellow line. They were up against each other. And I remember that too. I remember that road. It wasn't a comfortable ride when you're in the left lane. I'll put it that way.
Because no mistakes allowed. You go a couple inches the wrong way, you slam it up against that barrier.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no soft place to put that motorcycle at. How about that?
Yes.
There's not a soft place to put it. I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay. So road construction, decent. Louisiana, not so hot. Beaumont area, be careful. Be careful. Yeah. Have a wheel and tire package, I would suggest. What you guys think?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Weather, understand this time of year is 4 seasons. I would say, and you guys, you tell me, I would say making a cross-country ride, if you're not comfortable riding inclement weather, you probably don't want to do this right now.
Yeah, I would agree.
Is that a safe thing to say?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I definitely, as your first trip either, you need to go ahead and build up that stamina. You know what I mean? Do a 200 miler, then a 400 miler, then a 600 miler to build up that stamina to get used to riding that way as well.
I think Pastor Retro has the Mission 48 ride where you do the 4 corners of your state. I think those are good tune-up rides for a cross-country ride. What you guys think?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
I agree.
Knock down your own state. Now, if your state is Texas, it's just like riding across country because Texas is big as all outdoors. But if you live in Georgia, the Carolinas, Florida, it's realistic and it's a good ride because you're putting some miles out there, but you're not too far away from home, and it's a good time to, just like the gentleman said, to build your endurance. Because I would never suggest, if you hadn't worked your way up to this, to do this as just a ride. You just roll out of bed and attempt it. What you guys think?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, with a ride like that, experience comes into play as well. A lot of
Hmm.
experience about, I mean, because like you said, you never know what's going to happen on that road and things going to happen. And also, you preparing experience, meaning something has happened to someone or to you or someone you know that will prepare you to bring things like road flares or even, you know, a chair or some type of cover or anything like that to protect you in the elements when you don't know what's going to happen, and you may be in a situation where you don't know what's going to happen, you know, like a first aid kit
Yeah.
and everything else like that.
Well
So
said.
yeah.
No, go ahead and
so
finish your thought. Yeah. Go ahead and
so
finish
I
your
mean,
thought.
I mean, because like you said, like me and 360, I mean, we've had like great rides with no issues, and we've had rides to like Maine where it was a major issue. And I learned from, you know, like from those experiences, like, hey, we were sitting on a dark road in the middle of the night waiting on a tow truck in Maine. It's like, man, those little flashing road flares would be nice to have right now because cars can't see us, and it's just a back road. So I ended up purchasing some road flares, and we were out in the rain all day waiting on the tow truck. So hey, I got a little 2-man tent, you know, situations like
Yeah.
that.
Actually,
So
actually, that's a dang good idea. Yeah.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Is like I didn't think about that before that happened, but since it happened, that's why. And you know what? Those rope flares and the tent and everything else, or the cover and the chair, all that played a factor into what happened to me on this ride.
Yeah. And, you know, and it's part about the survival. Let's, you know, that's the beauty of this whole each one teach one platform, man, is that we're teaching people in real time, you know, what we experience. So hopefully your ride could be safer. So hopefully your ride could be a lot more proficient or efficient. And ultimately ride could be a lot more fun because when things happen and you're not prepared, man, the best ride could go to heck. you know,
Yeah,
just like I was saying, we had this saying in the Marine Corps, man, the best laid plans go to hell once you hit the beach. And basically what they were trying to say was, hey man, the enemy has guns too. Things are gonna happen and somebody's gonna have a bad day.
right.
Either you or them, somebody's gonna have a bad day. So in this whole biking game, in this yonder game, the better prepared you are, typically kind of how life works, the least amount of things happen. And when they do happen, it's not catastrophic because you're prepared. What you guys think?
I agree.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so we get into San Antonio, man. We bed down, y'all snoring, and the other guys are still on the road, chug-a-looking, trying to get to San Antonio. So what time did we get up the next morning? And what time did we get on the road?
Oh man.
Uh,
I feel
I,
we pulled out at 7.
Yeah, I was
no,
thinking about
I,
it was about 7 this time.
I
Yeah.
I
think it was
think
about
when
8. I
y'all
think it was about 8 when we
at
actually pulled
8 o'clock.
up
Okay.
because we were sitting around talking with them, and then we sat down and ate breakfast with them. So it was closer to 8 when we actually pulled out.
Oh, so
Yeah.
y'all were just y'all were just enjoying yourself at that point.
Yeah, we were just, you know, chopping it up with, you know, with the
Yeah,
water off guys. So
right,
that's
Yeah.
when
right.
we ended up taking that picture that morning before we pulled out, and
Yeah,
you know, San
yeah.
Antonio. So
I, I
uh,
I remember that. I remember that. So we
yeah,
take off at 8. We take off at 8. We get ready to rock and roll. So how was it coming out the gate? How did the weather look? How was the conditions?
I think you remember. I think it was pretty clear coming out of San Antonio. It was beautiful looking through the mountains. You know, I've known this portion of I-10.
Hmm.
I've driven in a car to Fort Bliss on I-10, and I said I swore I would never go back down I-10 again
Yeah,
in the
that's a lonely
Gauntlet
that's a
area.
lonely road, ain't it?
That is a lonely, and this was years ago before we had satellite radio, and I didn't
Oh
have
yeah.
a cell phone signal for the whole ride all the way across I-10 once I got past San Antonio.
This was y'all
So
that morning leaving San Antonio, am I right?
That's correct. Yep.
That was that morning for breakfast.
yes, that is correct.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all all
Yes.
still look happy. Y'all look happy. Everybody, everybody still feeling good. Yeah. Right on.
Yes.
We gonna make. Hey, know what y'all saying? Oh, this is easy.
Easy.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, anyway, finish the thought, man. I'm gonna start clowning. Go ahead.
I mean, because honestly, it was like the 1,100 mile to San Antonio. That was a
Mhm,
plan. So we accomplished mission number one.
mhm.
And Tucson or Phoenix was about 800 to 900 miles. It's like day two, no problem. We just gonna
Yeah,
make it
because
happen.
the first
Things
leg, man, the
always
first
work the
leg.
way you.
Yeah, because if you make the first leg your
Yeah,
best leg, chances are
Yep.
the second one's gonna be a little less, and the third one's gonna be a nice, easy roll on into Santa Monica Pier. So, normally some of my guys they like to strategize. They like to go hard, medium, and soft the third day, and I like it like that
exactly,
myself personally because
exactly.
you've been on the road and you're hard. So, for
And
those who are
that
out
was the
there, the
plan.
gentlemen, yeah, for those who are out there that listen to the gentleman from Jacksonville to San Antonio, if you're good enough if you're experienced enough to do that, man, the second 2 days really start to fall into place for you. But I'm gonna say this: what the gentleman did, okay, they're being very modest. Jacksonville to San Antonio, if you hadn't done that kind of distance before, don't monkey around with that coming out the gate. Keep yourself in a safe status. The safe status
Yeah,
is probably 6 to 800 for most of my riders, my experienced riders. When you're doing plus 800 and you're doing a thou wow, these guys did over a thou wow the first day coming out the gate. That's a lot of time in the saddle, and that's if everything goes right. Traffic can hold you up, weather can hold you up, and those type of things. Am I correct, fellas?
Yeah, I want to add to that too, Sarge.
Yes, sir.
Me and Blow, we've done 1,000 miles before, so this wasn't our very first 1,000 miles. So
Oh,
I
I
just
knew
want
you guys knew what you were doing. Yeah, I
right.
knew
So
you.
I,
Yeah,
I
no,
wanted to
I
add
don't.
that because you
Yeah,
you
I
made
don't
a
want.
very good point.
Yeah,
If you've
I
done it
don't want
before,
my newer guys
right?
that are getting ready to start experiencing long distances to do those things. You got to work yourself up to those things, and you got to build, like you gentlemen was saying, you got to start to build momentum. You got to start getting your body ready because that's a long ways. It's a long ways. Yeah, some guys like you guys, y'all do it. Y'all make it look fundamental. you know, hey, when you can do it like that, you can do it like that. But there's levels to this here thing.
Right.
so,
That's
so
right.
gentlemen, so we
yes,
rock.
yeah.
We jump from San Antonio, just west of San Antonio is what we call. Once we get past Bernie, Texas, and Bernie is basically like a little suburb outside of San Antonio, west of San Antonio. If you're coming from
And it's-
Jacksonville, we call that area the Gauntlet. We call it the Gauntlet because if anything happens from Bernie to El Paso, everything in between, there's a lot of rural towns, there's a lot of desert, it ain't no people out there. So typically, if something happens out there, it's multiplied times 10 because resources are not readily available, whether it's gas stations, maintenance shops, major cities, uh, healthcare, hospitals, etc. All those things. There's very little of that out there. So, gentlemen, we're in the gauntlet now. The gauntlet consists of what, almost 400 miles, am I correct? Based off how we explaining it. We get
yes,
rocking and rolling.
yeah. I
So
think it was
let's talk about it.
500.
Yeah, I want to
I
say
think
550 maybe.
I
Yeah,
think it was
it's a
500
long
miles to
it's
San Antonio or something
Antonio.
between
Well,
San Antonio and El
you talking about
Paso or
from
something like that.
it's a long behind way, and you better be prepared.
Yes.
So let's talk about it. We get out the gate, we leave when we're feeling good, we're rocking and rolling. Let's talk about day 2. How did that come out? How did that work out for us?
Well, everything started out fine, and we were just rolling along on I-10 in the gauntlet, and
Right.
I guess I was talking on the phone on my headset to my mom at the time, and then I heard a big like like hit sound, and then it sounded blah 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 blah. It sounded like my muffler had come off or something. It sounded odd, and so I was like, "Hey, mom, let me call you back because I don't I don't know what's going on. So I hung up the phone with her, the headset, the Bluetooth, and we pulled over, and we could not make out what it was at first. And I started it back up, and it's still. I'm like, sound like the mufflers are loose or something. And then that's when 360 saw the ACR sensor out on the left side of the bike. So he said, "Hey, this right here is out here." And so
Well,
that's where it all
let,
started from right there.
let's do this blowout. Let's see if we can pull that footage up, and then I'll let you speak on it. Let's see where we at here. See if I can find it. Boom. Let's see if we can pull that up. Get that working here. See, let me get my volume there. I just lost it. Dang it. Let's see. Give me 1 second, fellas. Hold tight. Please don't tell me I lost it. I'll let you keep talking about it, and I'm gonna see if I can pull it back up. I'll let you keep talking.
Okay.
You want to
Well,
keep? Yeah.
me and 360 were on side of the. Me and 360 had just fueled up at Fort Stockton, maybe
hmm
20, 30 miles before that. And then that's when the incident happened. And when we pulled over, like I said, when I heard those sounds,
hmm
and 360 saw at the time, me nor him knew exactly what that was. That was out. It was just we knew something was out of place. That was
Right.
dangling out of place.
And you
Am I
were
not right?
losing power. You say
360.
you lost complete power when that was going on. Was it
It
smoking
was.
or?
I'll say we were losing. I mean, it was. It didn't sound right, and it didn't have a normal thrust. I'll put it that way.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to make it worse. I didn't want to make a bad situation worse by trying to force it and ride it at the
Exactly.
time. So
Exactly.
it was it was a sound that I never heard before, and
hmm
but the sound after the big hiss sound was it sounded like the muffler had come loose from the engine or something.
hmm
And so we pulled over. We was trying to figure it out, and we knew looking at 360 that the ward officer is coming up behind us. So we're
Right.
gonna try to figure it out while they coming down the road.
Okay. Because I think
And
at that time,
so
Wardoff was what, about an hour behind you guys when that was going on.
Yeah, about an
yeah,
hour.
Okay.
probably something like that.
Okay. So we pull off the road. At this point,
So
where are
they
we
they
at?
pulled over and
So
with
what
30 miles, maybe 25, 30 miles. Go
Uh-huh.
ahead, 360.
yep. About 20, 25 miles from Stockton, 200 miles away
From Fort
El Paso.
Stockton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and 20 miles away from El Paso. Is about
Okay.
where
So for our viewers, now we really are in the middle of nowhere. For those viewers who are
Correct.
trying to imagine what we're talking about, we're in the middle of nowhere. We're in the middle of rural Texas. Am I correct, gentlemen?
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah, we
Yes.
when you see those Clint Eastwood movies when and you see the vultures flying above your head. This is where we at right now.
Yes.
Hey,
That's
this is
exactly
where
where we
we
were
real
at right
serious.
then.
Yeah, we real serious at this point because life ain't good. So we're over to the side. We're trying to diagnose and figure out what the heck is going on with the bike. So at this point, I think I've almost got that video. I wanted to get that thing up, and I apologize. I lost it. But I think I'm pretty close. But at this point, it was what was it called that happened to the bike?
It was the ACR.
The
It was a
ACR.
HCR sensor.
Right.
HCR at the top of the engine, the Milwaukee 8 engine.
And
I didn't know what it was at the time, I don't know if 360 because 360 an Indian guy, so I don't think he knew what it was at the time.
Yeah.
But
360 just
when
said it was a
Big
regular
Dog
Harley
and all of the
problem.
guys got there,
Yeah.
see that we gonna get into that in a little bit, but
Yeah. Hey,
but I'll say this right here.
360 probably just looked over at you and say, "Man, I told you to buy an Indian."
Yeah, I should have did that.
Yeah.
No,
So,
I
because see at this,
yeah. So
because see at
when
this
Big Dog,
point, yeah,
when,
see at this point now the bike is disabled. Now you guys have to. Now
right,
you got to figure this thing out, and then not only do you have to figure it out, you have to say, okay, now we got to get a tow truck in the area, and where you guys are sitting at
yes,
now, you're really at this point, you're 200 miles away from El Paso, and towing service is very limited. You're going to only probably be able to get towed from the way you guys are set up, either from El Paso or from Odessa, Texas, which is probably another couple hours north of where you guys at. Am I right with my geography?
that is
Spot
correct.
on.
They said 90 minutes north is Odessa,
Is Odessa?
and yeah, 90 minutes north was Odessa, but both of them were closed on Sunday and Monday, and I knew I-10 was the, I guess El Paso was the best
Yeah,
option at
because
the time.
at this point, even Odessa does not have a Harley Davidson dealership. There are some mechanic shops in Odessa, but as far as having a Harley dealer, you're out of luck. El Paso is going to be the only thing that you're going to have to for you. So again, in the worst place that you could, in the worst scenario on a Sunday, but we have to take it on the chin. We pros out here when we do this thing, man. So from that point, what did you guys do? What did y'all put into play?
Well, you know what? I was unsure at the time when it happened, and when Big Dog got there and he pulled out
Matter of fact,
his
Blow-out, I got it right here. Give me 1 second. I apologize. I got it here.
okay.
Here we go.
This blew out of the cylinder. This is an M8. It blew out of the cylinder head. The threads are good here. They're bad in the cylinder head. If you guys run 360, if you can reach out to us and get us some help on that, that's really going to help us out. But we're dead in the water right now. All right. So please give us a call. Reach out to us. Reach out to anybody from Harley Davidson that can help us today, so we can get this man back on the road on I-10 to the end. Appreciate you, brother.
Were you guys able to hear the volume on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm looking at this, and I'm looking in the let me see if I can put that back up. I'm gonna kill the volume on it. Let me see if I can put that back up. Let's see.
This blew out of the cylinder.
Okay.
This is an M8.
So now as we looking at the video and I'm looking at the background, there's literally nothing out there.
No.
And I think you guys are out there. What time of day were you guys out there when y'all first got out there? It was around, was it about noon time?
It probably was about noon.
By
Yeah,
noon time.
noon morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got this is what the math is telling us. So we got maybe 8 hours of daylight available to us.
Mhm.
Right.
We're here on a Sunday. We're in rural Texas. Now time ain't gonna give us time. We need to be able to figure this out and get it done fast before it gets dark, because when it gets dark, it gets very, very dangerous. Am I correct?
That's
Yes.
correct.
So what was the plan? What did we do, and how did it work out?
Well, at the time it was figure out a tow truck, but we were still trying to figure out if we could get it to where the ACR sensor stayed in. And like I said, I wasn't as worried as I would have been if Big Dog and GP and Hazard and Face and Romello, all of them guys showed up. I felt more relaxed after that. So the stress level went down when I had more of my brothers with me, and I call them the Fab Five out of Waldorf right there. So
I know
you
that's
know,
right. I
and
know that's right.
and the way Big Dog jumped on it and knew exactly what it was and what was causing it, because he actually was able to get the ACR back into the engine, into the M8.
Well, you know, big dog could ride with me any day.
Yes,
You
yes.
know what he's doing. Yeah, he can ride with me any day. Yeah.
And so I wrote it. It sounded right when he put it back in there. And
Mhm.
then I rode for about a mile, and then it did the same thing all over again and pulled over, and then they pulled back over with us. And yeah, he's like, yeah, it ain't. It's not the ACR. It's got to be stripped out inside of the head, because he was
Mhm.
explaining. He explained to me that Harley makes an aluminum head with a steel screw-in sensor itself. So that aluminum getting hot and the threads stripped out because of it being aluminum compared to the steel sensor itself. So he put a clear picture in my head what the problem was.
Okay. Okay.
So
He
he was
no, go ahead.
accurate and or knew exactly what he was talking about.
Okay.
So I want to add to that too, real quick. If you have an M8, you need to take it to the shop and have them go ahead and retort. They have a service bulletin out there for it, but they didn't do a recall. So if you have an M8 engine, you need to go ahead and take it in and have them go ahead and check that torque out.
And have the torque checked on it.
Yep.
Okay.
They are aware of it, and if you bring it in and ask them to go ahead and do it, they have to go ahead and torque it down to the new value.
Yeah. Okay. I want to mention. I'm going to put something on the Iron Elite page about this. I meant to do it anyway. I knew we were going to be talking about it on the show, but I really, matter of fact, let me show everybody, and I'll get to this in a second. But I've heard since the incident happened, with you Blo-out, I'm hearing more and more people speak about that with the M8 motors. Typically, they said at about a 2-year mark that happens if you ain't careful to you.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my buddies who's out of the Soul Brothers LA chapter, he called me immediately when that was going on with your bike. And he started explaining to me some things and what you can do. And let me pop this up on the screen here. Let me see, y'all. Give me 1 second here. And he was like, Sarge, this is a piece that they need to buy as well and have it on deck. Let me see. Man, I'm catching the devil today trying to get my screen up here. Y'all hanging out with me. I apologize, but Sarge gonna get it together. Let's see me pop up. Hey, who's that? I was telling the man, it's just one of them days. Once you go live, then everything goes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's me, homie. Okay,
Yeah.
let me pop that in.
Cool.
Yeah, that's your boy right now. Let's see. It won't let me bring it up for some reason. Hang tight. I'll get it. I might have to come back to it, but it's called Duralast. It's a thread repair system.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. I got it now. Let's see. There we go. Can you see it up on the screen?
Yep.
Okay, and that's what you guys end up eventually getting once you got to El Paso. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of those must-have things on my bike now when I get ready to start traveling in a couple of weeks here, is picking up one of those from AutoZone. What is that and how much that runs? I think it's very inexpensive, is it not?
Yeah, I think we paid like $30 for it, something like that.
Yeah.
But they have different sizes. So you have to make sure you get the right size, because when I initially bought the first one and brought it back, Big Dog told me that it was too big for that particular housing. So I had to go back and get the next size down. So make sure you know what size you're getting.
Okay. But yeah, I'm definitely going to post this again on the page as something to have on the bike. Is right up there with, I saw Jimmy, shout out to Jimmy out of Virginia. Jimmy had a issue with a tire stem that had a tear on the side of it, and he used a tire stem repair kit on the side of the road. And he repaired it. Man, it looked very simple the way he did it. But those type of things, have that on the bike, man, it's just the funkiest thing, because if a tire stem goes bad and you don't have a repair kit, that is a tow. That is a tow. Am I right, gentlemen?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And when it's time to tow, it's gonna cost. What's those
Right.
saying? Is it gonna hurt? Yeah, it's gonna hurt, homie. It's gonna hurt. So be prepared with those type of things and have those. So gentlemen, taking it back to the recovery. So we get Big Dog there. Big Dog works on the bike a little bit. We were able to go about another mile, and then we had to call it quits. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so then we had to shut it down. So then from that point, what was going on from there? You guys could take me through it.
So for me, I mean, honestly, it was concerned, but at the same time, there was a lot of networking going on. There was a
Right,
lot of
right on.
networking. It was, I mean, I heard Big Dog say on their podcast about like how to network
Mm-hmm.
is networking basically,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
people are reaching out and contacts. There were people reaching out to 360, Big Dog. I mean, honestly, Big Dog and 360 got most of the contact while I was trying to maintain my composure basically for the
Right,
situation.
right,
So
right.
so those two were doing most of the networking, and it's just like just trying to keep my calm and trying to think of all of the best case scenario. What if?
Yeah.
What could we do? How could we? And that was a picture I took right there when we were just sitting on the little side road off the
Fellas,
interstate.
that look lonely, don't it? That look
Hey,
lonely. But that's a band of brothers right there.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was.
Even that you're in the middle of nowhere, man. You feel like you feel like you're deployed overseas somewhere. But there's always comfort in numbers.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
There's comfort. Because
Yes.
and I don't want to steal your thunder. You guys forgive me, man. I lived this through you guys, man, and it was irritating me and bugging me, and I wanted you guys to get help quick, and I wanted things to work out perfectly, which they did. But we knew with you guys, y'all were racing against sunlight.
Yes.
Am I correct?
And that was when the sun was going down on us right then.
Yeah. And it's gonna get real dark.
Yeah.
It's gonna get real dark. Yeah. Yeah.
And so we were sitting out there, and you get desperate in situations like that. Situations happen. And I'm gonna tell you, I heard the guys, they didn't want to tell the story, but I'm gonna tell you the story. Sorry.
Well, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Okay. In desperate times, people, you take desperate measures. And it was a 18-wheeler that, one of those car carriers.
Mm-hmm.
They have like an under level and an upper level of cars on the trailer.
Right. Yeah.
Guy pulled over and said he'll take my bike to San Antonio because he was on his way to Arizona. Like cool. A brother pulled over to help us out. And I was like, and I'm gonna tell you like this, Big Dog was like, well, I don't know if that's gonna work because how you strap it down on there and this, you don't have the tension and everybody else, including myself, was like, because we desperate. It was like, yeah, it'll work. We can get it on there, we can strap it down, type of situations. So everybody was kind of like, okay, yeah, we can get this and we can get on the road. He can take us to San Antonio. I mean, to El Paso. And so I pulled the bike around, and he wanted me to ride it to the upper level. So like those car trailers, all you got is the little narrow wheel drives up on both sides.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what
it's
you're
the
talking about.
wheel ramp. It's just wide enough for the wheel ramp.
Right.
And when I pulled it around, I was like, why am I putting it on the top one? He's like, that's the best way to do it. I said, I don't know if I feel comfortable with riding. I ain't got nowhere to put my feet down, is what I was telling him.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I said, I don't feel comfortable doing that. But me and I'll say 5 others were like, yeah, it'll work. Yeah, it'll work. And I was like, yeah, it'll work. So I said, this is the words that I said to this guy. I said, you want me to do some Evil Knievel shit to get up there.
Right. With a
And like I said,
900-pound bike. With a
a
900-pound
900-pound
bike.
bike and nowhere
Yeah.
to put your feet down, and the
Yeah.
engine
Yeah.
is not running normally.
Yeah. Hey, that's one of them times you say, hold my beer. When you say that, you know something ain't gonna happen, right?
And
You know
you know
something
what?
bad gonna happen. Yeah.
I rode that thing up that ramp. I have to say, I tried to ride. I rode it up there, got it up to the top level, and like I said, I had nowhere to put my feet down. And them guys caught me. They caught me before I fell off the ramp. And,
Ooh-wee.
and he lifted it up and he started strapping it down. And then there was like reality started settling in. It's like all of the stuff that Big Dog was saying is true because where he strapped it down, I'm like, nah, this is not stable. My bike is gonna fall off of here.
Off that dang trailer, boy.
And at the same time, I was like, hey, I said, you know, you gotta take me to El Paso too, right? And the driver was like, well, I guess I got to make room in the cab for you. I'm like, what do you think you was going to, in my head, I'm thinking, you think you're going to just take my bike and how am I going to, I'm
No,
going to
he
be
thought
left on the side of the road?
he thought you were gonna ride on the back of 360 bike.
I don't know what he thought, but I went, hey, if my bike was going, I was going to be with him. And then so he started strapping it down more. And I was like, you know, you got to carry me and my bags in this truck, right? And he didn't say nothing. And all of the strapping down and everything that was going on, I was like, I am more and more not comfortable with this idea. Even though no matter how desperate I am or we are, and it was one of those situations. And I hate to say this, but Romello took a video of me riding it up on that ramp. I'm like, you supposed to be there trying to make sure I don't fall over. He said, well, somebody had to record the situation.
Yeah. Hey man, shout out to Romello. He didn't shoot that video to me. He like, I ain't letting nobody see this. We gonna keep this for insurance just in case. Hey,
So,
wow, that's crazy.
And when he strapped it down, we got to the point. I was like, no. I said, I'm not. I said, we got to take my bike down. I said, I'm just not comfortable with none of this. With none of this right here. And it was.
I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you.
I don't blame you. All of that stuff. That's another warning I want people to know. Even though, no matter how desperate you are in situations and things you want to do to get out of that situation, sometimes it's not the best, and people are not always
thinking clearly,
doing the best for you. In that situation.
I agree. You know, if you just take a step back and do some critical thinking, chances are you're going to be doing the right thing. But if you're coming from a place of desperation, you're typically going to make desperate decisions, and you're going to like we said, the whole get down with this. And I know we're almost an hour into this podcast, and I know we could probably go 3 hours to talk about it, but we're going to try to kind of condense it down. But the whole thing about this is understanding, man, you got to take your time to make critical decisions, especially when you're back there in the gauntlet, because if you make one bad thing happen, it could be amplified 10 times. Is that fair, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because when we did our after action report, I mean, hindsight 2020, that was a decision that we was making right there. But to Blo-out, what he stated, and I think GP made the same comment. With you get in those situations, and it's getting dark. Or the brothers that we try to get them on their mission, and we were just trying to figure out what was the quickest route to go in and get them off the road, and that wasn't the way to go about doing it. So.
Well, you guys did. We'll a couple more minutes on this, and we'll push on. But you guys, what I like, because I think at one time we got on a conference call. I think we were on. It was me, Kodak. Was it Big Dog? Maybe I can't remember who the other. It was Big Dog.
Yeah.
And we shot a couple scenarios out, and the thing that I try to make sure I don't do is my opinion don't need to be the first and last opinion. Whoever's on the road, what you do is the most important thing. If I can support you, give you a piece of advice, if you need my advice or my opinions, I give it. But I'm very careful about when I start saying things because I'm not there. When you're there, you got a better position on what's going on. So I saw what you guys had going on. I saw that the brothers, everybody stayed with you guys. Am I correct to that tow truck got there?
Yes.
Well, I think they left maybe a couple minutes when a couple of them went forward to Van Horn. I think once they knew you guys would get ready to get strapped up.
No,
I mean, they didn't leave until we were strapped up
Until y'all were strapped
on
up.
the truck, and then you go
in the truck.
Because I remember talking to Big Dog and I said, have them guys, since 360 is his wingman, have him take both bikes on it, because you can ship up one bike, 2 bikes is just as easy as you can do 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I said it's important for 360 not to ride behind him to El Paso, because you guys been out there all day. Fatigue is set in. After your adrenaline finally calms down, now the body's going to do what the body's going to do. And the last thing we want is anybody hurt. So I saw when I finally woke up, went to bed, woke up, I saw you guys are in El Paso, and I saw 5 other bikes sitting in Van Horn, and I said, God bless it. They did the right damn thing. Because any component of the wrong thing would have made that problem horrible.
That's right.
Would have made it horrible. So, gentlemen, we'll push on. I know we bogged down, but I think this, if nothing else in the show, this was the most important piece of the show, in my opinion, to cover this, because I think by you guys showing us how to do it right, we're going to save somebody, and we could possibly save somebody's life. So it's important for me, and thank you guys for allowing me to spend a little bit more time on this. So I'll let you take it from there, Blow-out. So what was the deal once we got to El Paso and the bike safe and sound, and you guys in a hotel?
Well, I'll tell you what, Johnny, the tow truck driver that through your network picked us up with a dual motorcycle trailer. And then once, like I said, once we got into, he was taking us there, he said, talk to Priscilla. She is the service general manager for the Barnett Harley when they opened. And so he took us to El Paso. He put us in he pulled up to a hotel right next door to Barnett Harley Davidson. We knew it was going to be closed Monday. So basically Monday was all day of trying to plan and figure out what we were going to do if they could fix the bike.
Right.
And that's when I called you about, like, okay, if they can fix the bike, what do we have to do? That was the uncomfortable call that you were talking about.
That was the uncomfortable conversation.
Yes. And you said, yeah, you got to go back. I'm like, hey,
could you tell him? And could you tell him my voice, man? I really didn't want to tell you.
Yeah, because you were like, hey, I just want to make sure you guys are safe.
Hey,
we
good.
Hey, what do we have to do?
And you know how it is, just like, hey, you know how did you say? They say, doctor, is it gonna hurt? Yeah, it's gonna hurt. it was one of them things. It was one of them things that I said, I don't want to tell these guys the bad news up quick, but they always tell you bad news is better served. Don't wait to delay bad news. Bad news, give it to them now so you can digest it. But I didn't. I went against the rule of thumb. But you guys, man, thank God you guys were soldiering. You brought it to me and said, Sarge, we got to go back and get that right. And I was like, yeah. Hey, so I'll let you take it from there. Y'all had to go back and get that.
And so Monday, we had all day Monday. I'm like, maybe I could rent a motorcycle. If they can fix my bike, I could rent a motorcycle and we could ride back that 200 miles and then come back and my bike could be ready. Or what if I got to finish this trip and ride that 200 miles back with a rental bike and come back to El Paso and wait on them to finish the bike? I mean, I was playing, and we were playing all different type of scenarios. What can we do? How can we do it? Is this authorized to do this or to do that? And it was like, every motorcycle rental place was like, you have to wait 2 days. You have to, they put a deposit in 2 days out. And we didn't have 2 days to put a deposit in on a bike. I don't even know if that was authorized, that if we could do it that way. If I rent a bike,
you could have done it. Long as you're on the bike with the miles, you could have done it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It was like Monday
Because
was.
we've had riders, a bike breaks, and I've had riders right there at the dealership buy a brand new bike and keep pushing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had that scenario before. Yeah.
So I mean, it felt better knowing what we had to do, and knowing that we had to do it. It was more of, and then it was like you told me, and then I had to tell 360. It was like, hey man, so I said we got to go back them 200 miles, and that look on his face, I felt so bad. I felt sorry. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. It's my fault for these 200. It was 215 miles to be exact.
Yeah. One way.
It was
Yeah, one way.
215 to be exact.
Yeah, one way.
One way.
Hey, bro, I'm telling you, when you and 360 did that, man, y'all were gangsters. Y'all were Iron Elite legends after that point. Somebody posted it, and I had a situation where solo rider out of Minneapolis, he made on the post, he said, they're not the only ones that have done that. That's been done before. I thought to myself, I mean, you don't know. They are the only ones that have done that. I said the last group that did it was a few years before. They had the same broke down, probably pretty close to the same area you did. That wheel bearings went bad on the bike, and they refused to go back. And they were lucky because they lived in Jacksonville. So they preferred to push on to Cali and come back and get it on the back end versus going to get those 200 miles.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, it was what it was. So you get to LA and you didn't finish properly, but you were lucky enough to know that you had to come back the same way. So,
okay.
To each their own. But you guys were documented the first ones who went that distance to go back and get those miles. And you guys didn't fight, you didn't scratch, you did what you had to do. You soldiered through. That's the best way I can describe it. You soldiered through, and you guys became like the rock stars on Iron Elite. I got 5. Bro, I was getting 5 phone calls probably every day about y'all. Hey, so y'all was them dudes, man. Hey, let me do this real quick. Hey, so we talk about. Let me do this real quick. Let me give you one of these. With my Dom DeMarco. I gotta give y'all a Dom DeMarco for that. Dom DeMarco. Hey man, you gotta get a Dom DeMarco. But okay, so fellas, okay, here we go. So we get the bike squared away. We make our plan. We finally get it fixed. We get on the highway. We knock off 215 one way, right?
Correct.
And then we had to
230 or 215 going back. Because as soon as, like I said, we had a motel room right next door to Barnett.
Right.
I went and grabbed my helmet, and so we were just waiting at this dealership for them to finish my bike, so we could go get that 200 and something miles. And actually, honestly, we just thought that's what we had to do. And being soldier, me and 360.
Yeah, it was.
It was like,
yeah.
I'm just saying, it was like, that's what we got to do. That's what we got to do type of attitude. It wasn't like we're going to be rock stars or superstars for doing this, but it was just, as soldiers, like, hey, we're going to do what we got to do to make it happen.
Facts.
So,
what that spirit, I'm gonna let you, if you don't mind, I'm gonna have 360 speak on it too. But it's that feeling of mission accomplishment, man. We gotta accomplish the mission at all costs. And I knew you guys were deep in the fight because I saw the way you conducted yourself when you had to deal with what you had to deal with getting that bike to the shop and doing what you had to do. Look, man, it's either in you or it ain't. It's either in you or you ain't. And it'd been really easy for a person to say, okay, Sarge, we out of the deal. We're gonna get the bike fixed and we're gonna go back home. A lot of people would have opted for that.
Yeah, that wasn't an option. That wasn't an option.
Sir. Ground pounders ain't doing that. Hey, so do you got any thoughts on this 360?
Yeah. When Blo-out told me, I was a little discouraged. I won't lie.
You gonna get 100?
I was like, oh my God, we're gonna be back through these sandstorms again, and I'm like, but I was like, I'm his wingman. If my man's got to go, body
Yeah,
moving,
yeah.
body cover. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
done. So when we made that decision, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to park my bike right at the Harley dealership. You know, so whenever they get your bike, no matter what time it is, we're going to beat feet, hit that pound, and come on back and head out in the morning to finish up the mission. That's what we did.
Right. Hey, 360, you say we got to right back through this saying. hey, this is what it looked like?
Yeah.
Is that what it looked like?
Yes.
That's what it looked like.
And then they shut down I-10 that day too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
they shut it down because I was waiting on my bike, and 360 was like, "Hey, they shutting down I-10 because of the winds and the storm or the sandstorm."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my!" I say they shutting it down going back east. He's like, "I don't know," but we had to go back east to get that 200 something miles that night.
Yeah. Hey, so y'all got that, man. Y'all got back to El Paso safe and sound, bedded down. And then the last run was still not an easy run. That was still what, 800 and something on the dial?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, about 8 something, 8, 9.
Yeah, I think it's a little under 900 from El Paso to Santa Monica Pier, if my math is mathing correctly. So you still had a grown man ride for that last leg. Am I correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but y'all made that happen, man. So is everybody ever both you guys have been to California before on a bike?
That was my first time.
Man,
I've been there. I've been there before.
So what you think about that lane splitting stuff, man?
Well, I'm going to say this. You can call me Moses Jr. I'm not as good as the master Blo-out. So when I was leaving, they didn't want to move out my way.
Right.
So Blo-out took the lead, and I swear it was like a shark going through a bunch of tuna. Boy, them cars started.
Wow.
And I just kept in line with him, and we just kept on going. It was nice.
Yeah. It's a little. I think it's a little nerve wracking at first, but after about 15 minutes of it, man, you just get into the groove, and you're like, they all have to move for me.
Yeah.
Well, at least that's the thought process. They all got to get out of my way. That's a beautiful thing, and they expect you to split them lanes. You know, some gonna be disrespectful, but for the most part, those cars are looking at you like, "Hey, get on up here, get through here." Mm-hmm. Because for those, again, those getting ready to make this ride, coming through LA or coming through LA County or IE or any of those places up there, you can't afford to put your feet on the ground on the highway or through a traffic jam, man. You burn up brakes, clutches, you can't afford to stay out there on that highway like that. You got to keep that bike moving because you can overheat a bike in a heartbeat coming through rush hour traffic in LA. And then if you got a broken down bike in the middle of traffic, bro, you got problems. Is that fair, gentlemen?
Yes.
Yeah, you got problems. So we get up in there, man. Was that who was that you guys I talked to on the GPS when GPS was tripping on y'all?
Yeah, that was me. That was me. That was me. I'm like, I don't want to get all the way out here and take the wrong road. I'm like, we got to make sure we stay on the right route to get to where we're supposed to get to.
Yeah, hey,
that's
man.
what I was like. I need to call Sarge. I'm not sure about this route.
Hey, man, I was like the eye of the sky, man. I'm watching y'all, man, doing y'all thing, and man, it actually worked like a charm. And I tell everybody this: you're probably better served if you turn the GPS off once you get up in there, because Waze or Google Maps is going to constantly try to get you out of traffic or construction or an accident. It's going to try to maneuver you around. And it's going to take you off the 10. So the 10, it's kind of deceptive. Once you get to the end of the 10, it's not a big crazy looking thing. It says end of highway. That's it. And then you roll right into Santa Monica Pier. So, gentlemen, first time from Jacksonville, Florida, from the East Coast, from the tip of the tip, I-10 end to end. How did you feel, man, when you made it to the pier? What was the feeling?
Yeah, for me, I was humbled, to be quite honest with you. I mean, a seasoned gentleman like me that's up in age a little bit, to put my body and my bike through that, it was a great accomplishment, and shout out to everybody that done it before me, but, to be a part of that group, be a part of that family is honoring.
Nice. Bro, it's a feeling, man. And forgive me, I'm trying to see if I can find you guys' photo at the pier. I had it teed. I had your photo for Barnett, but I'm gonna pull up you guys' photo while you're talking. But if you can just kind of just 360 what you guys went through to get there, bro. I think you're being too humble. You guys went through a lot. Y'all went to a lot, bro. When I saw y'all finally made it there, man, it was chills that went down my spine because I said, these two gentlemen was not going to be denied.
Mm-mm.
Was that what you were thinking, man?
Yeah, well, I know.
Bro.
I don't want to speak for Blowout, but for me, you know, when we got off our bikes and we started taking snapshots and whatnot, I mean, that was all well and good. But there was a moment when I looked over at Blowout and I started thinking about all the trips that me and Blowout had accomplished together.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? This is a memory that it's going to be burning in my memory banks and ingrained in my soul that me and my brother made this trip, regardless of all the, the trials and tribulations that we had to go through. That's just part of the journey. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's part of the memory package. You
right.
know? But just to be able to stand there with my brother and just look at him and say, damn, dude, me and you just did 2,400 miles, man. We endured sandstorms, rain, you know what I mean? Riding your bikes, at an angle.
Yeah.
But we did it, and I can't be more proud of me and Blowout to make this accomplishment.
Man, wow. So what you thinking, Blo-out? What was the thought, man, when you made it there, bro?
I'm gonna tell you, it hit me before. It hit me in Tucson. I had got a call from Slick from Soldier.
My dog, Slick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he told me, he called, he said, man, y'all going viral. I was like, for what? I was like, what do you mean we're going viral? For what? Because we was on the bike that day after we went that 200 something miles back, and the next morning we got on the road, so we weren't paying attention to the media. And I can't remember who it was. Somebody made a video. He was in his truck. He was your friend.
I think it's Fat Cell.
It was Cell. It was Cell. Yeah.
Cell.
Yeah.
And we was at a gas station in Tucson, and I saw that video. And then that's when I realized, man. And I looked at 360. I showed him the video because Slick had called and told me.
Yeah.
And I looked at the video and I said, hey, man, hey, bro, we got to make it today. It ain't no stopping today.
I'm telling you, I was getting calls left and right. Cats were posting videos about y'all talking about your get out, man. They were watching. And let me tell you one thing about this whole social media get out. When you think they're not watching, they're watching.
Yeah.
They're watching.
Didn't realize it.
Yeah.
When I saw that video and what he said about me and 360, I was like, bro, that was extra motivating. Even though we had stopped at a gas station in Tucson, I'm sitting there at the gas station looking at that video. I'm like, and we looked at each other. We just shook our head like you said, we got to go get this right now.
Yeah,
and we didn't even get a chance. We didn't even watch the whole video through.
Yeah, yeah.
We saw enough to know we got to get out there and finish the job.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, for sure. Is that y'all?
Yes.
That's them dudes. Yeah, right there in Santa Monica Pier. That's them dudes, man.
And like you said, it's
crazy.
A humbling experience, but it had more meaning than just I-10 to the end for us.
Right.
So
I don't want to misspeak, but y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Man, these kind of rides strengthen brotherhood.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
It'll definitely teach you about yourself. I mean, don't get us wrong. Me and Bill had our disagreements on this.
Oh, y'all had some words.
Oh yeah.
Y'all had a word or two with each other.
We had some conversation.
Yeah, y'all had a couple of uncomfortable conversations.
Oh yeah,
But you know something? But fellas, real talk. I know we went a little longer on y'all podcast than I normally do, but I thought you deserved it. We rated it, and I really wanted to hit wanted this to resonate with the public, with the viewers. Look, you know, when things go easy or go good, it's easy to smile and flex. But when things don't go so hot and you have to put your ego to the side, I might have to call you a name or two that your mama didn't name you, but I still love you.
That's right.
And we can call each other outside our non-government names. And by the next gas station stop, still true blue to each other.
That's right.
yeah.
You know, we still true blue. And like I said, it'd have been real easy for Blo-out to call it quits. It'd have been real easy for 360 to take an attitude and say, hey man, why don't you just call it quits so I can catch up with the rest of the pack and I can just do what I got to do. It would have been real easy to do that. You guys took the toughest route to still be successful. You know, so that in itself to me means anything from here is just the thing. Anything from this point, you guys can overcome it because you've been time tested, and it tested a friendship, it tested a brotherhood, and you came through. And I'm gonna let this last word. I'm shut up. I promise. A lot of times, us in the club, we say brothers until our brotherhood is tested. And once our brotherhood is tested, we're gonna really find out if we brothers or not. Y'all tell me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Because we can be brothers in the clubhouse.
I'm gonna say this about us being brothers. Me and him, even though the journey to Santa Monica, I don't think we had a disagreement the whole way there.
Wow.
Coming back is where we started getting with weather decisions and different things like that. That's when we started. It was like we were both tired. We was like, okay, we drained. We gonna start calling each other names. But like you said,
we didn't 10 to the 10. Now we done with all this 10. And we done with all this 10, man.
Yeah, all that 10 stuff is over with now. It's like
we done with the 10, dog.
Yeah, I mean,
now we back to reality.
I mean, like you said, if you brothers, you brothers, and I Soldiers United. From what I know about the mother chapter, even if we fight within, we still brothers to the end. All of us.
That's what's up.
So, and even with our Wardorf brothers and all the other chapters. But the thing is, like, if we doing this together, we doing this together.
Yeah, right.
So that's how I see it for us. And another thing, hopefully, Sarge, you're gonna make it to our annual this year.
Man, I'm gonna be there, homie. I'm gonna be there. You
June
guys
19th to the 21st.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will be just coming back from the West Coast because, by the way, Sarge got to ride motorcycles too. I'll be coming back from the West Coast and I'll be hanging out with you guys. But let's do this, man. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and give you guys a round of applause, man. What are we looking at? Riders, you guys are riders 301, 360, 301, and Blo-out 302, man. Let's do this. Give you guys a round of applause real quick. Let's do this. Gentlemen, thank you so much for caring enough to share your ride with us. These gentlemen went through heck and high water, man, to be successful, to go all the way across the I-10 from Jacksonville, Florida to Santa Monica Pier with a couple stops in El Paso. Safe and sound to make it back home to Hinesville, Georgia. And this last photo, fellas, before we bring this to a close, what we at now? We on the treacherous 40?
That is
correct.
40. That's that 40.
Oh, hey, y'all. Hey, I know that's when y'all was like, that's when keeping it real didn't go so real.
That's when the attitude started coming in.
Yeah.
When the weather situation.
Hey, I done told you. that 40, man, this time of year still treacherous out there. Yeah. I see a couple pictures, man. I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, yeah.
I had to get off the bike to see if it was like, no, that can't be snow. And I had to get off and step out there. It was snow.
That was the next morning, wasn't it?
Yeah,
was. Oh yeah, after we made it through.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
was that in Flagstaff? Was that in Flagstaff?
Yes.
Yikes.
That was the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was the next day.
Yeah,
it was the next day, right?
Snow and hail. We had all three of them. Yeah.
Hey, how about this?
Yeah, big dog. Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah,
hey, man,
that's what we had an argument about right there. Like stopping right there before the snow get to us, or just push through the snow that night and just get on the other side of it. Is what I was trying to get 360. Yeah. Like, man, it's too cold, man. It's that's what I had to fight about.
I had enough. I was like, I'm done.
And you finished at that point. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, they took the 40 back. They took the 40 to what, Memphis? And then from Memphis, you guys dropped down to what is it, 22? 22 to 20 to 16?
Yeah, 22 for Blo-out, and I 72 to go back to it. Because I'm in Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You had to go to Huntsville. So Huntsville is what? You cut up, what is it, 65 to go to Huntsville?
No, I took 22 to 72.
To 72. Okay. Yes. So back home, safe and sound. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for sharing your ride, your experiences with us. I guarantee you this, we will be better motorcycle riders because gentlemen like you who care enough to share with us your ride for us to be better motorcycle riders. So before we cut, any last words for me, gentlemen, before we let you guys go?
Keep it riding.
Keep it riding. Keep it riding. So number 301, 302, I got my man Blo-out, and 360, man. Soldiers United, bro. I don't know what I'm gonna do with you guys, man. I can't keep y'all off motorcycles, man. Y'all take all my patches up. Hey, fellas, thank you, man. Salute, and we'll see you guys in June, man.
All right, so
all right.
Peace out. Take care. All right.
Peace.
One love. Yes, sir. So there you have it, man. Riders 301, 302. My man 360 and Blo-out, man, just finished their I-10 to the end. Their epic ride, man. Each one teach one, the social experiment. Thank you guys today for hanging in with us. I know we're a little bit long today, but man, they had such a great story to tell, man, and I didn't want to shortchange their story. I wanted to be able to take advantage of all their experiences. Again, man, at one time or another, all of us are going to kind of experience a particular situation that happens on the highway. It's not the thing that happens, it's how you react to the thing that happens, man. It's going to really, really decide whether or not you're going to have a successful ride or you're going to not have a very successful ride. So please, I hope you guys learned something from the show today. Please, if you enjoy what we do on the podcast, man, please share the podcast with others, man. That's why we do this thing. That's why we have this get out, man. The each one teach one, the social experiment. Oh, by the way, man, news coming up here. This evening, I'll have Boston and Bubbles. We'll have their show at 8 p.m. Eastern. They'll be their I-10 to the end podcast interview. So stay tuned for that. We've got a double header today. And we're going to be talking about the ladies, right? It was the ladies edition, man. I call them the salt and pepper of motorcycle riders, man. So we'll be having those guys on shortly. And oh, by the way, in the future, man, Sarge is going to be down in South Florida the first weekend in May, man, rocking with my South Florida family. The Wynn sisters, the Bells, man, Joe Fan, Tommy, Anna. We're going to be down there rocking with those guys. Miami, hey, man, y'all stand by. We're going to come down and we're going to hang out with you guys and have a fun time. I'm looking at the 3rd of May, man. So see you guys down there soon. So with that being said, man, y'all hang in there, man. 8 p.m. We'll be back on the Iron Elite Podcast show for the 8 p.m. Eastern show with the ladies, Boston and Bubbles, man. So in the meantime, in between time, man, y'all keep it motorcycling, you dig?
Hey y'all, it's Snacks reminding you to tune in to the Iron Elite podcast. You dig?
This is the Mileage Bully, the Moto Mob CEO, and your 2024 Titan. You are now listening to Sarge on the Iron Elite podcast. Like, share, and subscribe. If you're not listening to the Iron Elite podcast, what are you really doing? Because we are talking motorcycles here. You dig?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this your man Kodak, the most hated, coming to you live from the Iron Elite podcast with my man, Big Sarge, where we always keep it motorcycle. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know what it is.
Hey, it's your boy Low Key. Y'all know I roll with Big Sarge and the Iron Elite, home of the Titan Award and the Crown Pounder Family Reunion. Each one teach one. You dig?
Hey now, it's your girl Piper, the 2025 Iron Elite Female Titan. And you're now tuned in to Sarge on the Iron Elite podcast show, home of the Ground Pounders Reunion and the Coast to Coast Run, the social experiment, where motorcycling is not just a hobby, it's a lifestyle. Get it? Now like, share, subscribe, and follow for all things motorcycling, and I'll see you on the sled.
I was asked the other day, hey Sarge, are you gonna play any fast music on your podcast? It's simple.